This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 130, Strength and Aging. Welcome to the show. My name is Michael Davis. This is all about fitness, diet, and medicine. I love my life so much that I want to make it last as long as possible. And I don't want to just add years to my life, but I want to add life to my years. If you feel the same way, then you're in the right place. Come on along, we'll get there together. We are constantly working on it and constantly learning things that I knew last year, or I thought last year. I've learned that they're not true methods I used previously. I found better methods, and we're continuing to improve. There's no end in sight, really, for this podcast, because we're always going to have an opportunity to improve our health. So you can hear the cicadas. It's a beautiful evening here at Lake Fayetteville. It's cloudy and I can barely read my notes, but I've got a headlamp on for safety and also maybe to help me read in these twilight moments. So I'm not going to have a beautiful sunset here today, just kind of slowly graying, darkening into black. Over the water, walking through the disc golf course, and the cicadas wanting to be part of the podcast as well. So they're singing their hearts out. So I'm real excited about, I've always talked about doing different things. You got to really just be active and have fun and stay active at the same time. And, I've been looking into skating because I went to the dietitian this last time and she said, I was like, I don't really like sitting on a recumbent bike and doing my interval training. Just don't like it. And it works, I'm sure, but it's just not a lot of fun. It's like walking on a treadmill. Well, I'm fortunate I can walk out here on the lake, but it doesn't give me a good cardio workout. So she suggested skating. And I'm just looking into it. It's tempting to go out and just go, buy all the best gear and then get out and do it. It does require quite a bit of gear. You have to have a set of pads and protective gear, helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, and wrist guards or gloves, as well as the skates themselves. And I'm talking about inline skates, not the four-wheel drive ones that I used to cruise along the beach in San Diego with. And I don't know, I guess it was a fad at some point that had something to do with disco. I don't know. But it's still around, and there are many different kinds of skating. And but I mean, the good skates can cost as much as a good bicycle costs, And I remember when I was thinking about buying a bicycle, I was really kind of hesitant because of the cost of it. And while I'm sure I'd enjoy it, I don't think I would get the aerobic workout that I could potentially get from skating. So I'm pretty sure I can skate right here on the trail at Lake Fayetteville because it's all either asphalt or concrete. And so anyway, I'm excited about that. Look for more about that in the future. I also think I might be able to, the thing about aerobic exercise is that you are by definition going to be out of breath. So probably will not be very amenable to podcasting, but we will probably try it at least once. So the title of our show is Strength and Aging. And I've been thinking about this ever since, and this was actually before the podcast started. It's about the same time that the podcast started. I was talking to my friend Tom, who is the head honcho of our network, and he mentioned it to me a couple of years ago, and so ever since then I've been kind of concerned with the need to be strong as we grow older, and it kind of makes sense, but I wanted to look into it a little more. What happened to mufflers? I mean, really. Are they just out of style now? I don't understand. Why exactly do we need to get strong and prepare for old age? And why is our strength going to be more important? Turns out there's some amazing research on strength loss as we age and the need for muscle strength in older adults and what resistance training can do for those same folks. National Institutes of Health, my favorite government agencies, got a lot of information there. Study conducted in 2014 confirmed earlier research findings that strength deteriorates with age. As if it weren't obvious. However, it isn't inevitable. The key factor, the report said, is a decrease in physical activity. So if you stay active, you can eliminate the most important cause of muscle and strength loss as you get older. Seems to be a recurring theme, stay active. So you're not just as young as you feel, you're as young as you act. Another factor is loss of appetite, and I'm not sure what to do about that. I know it's a serious issue because I've seen it in my parents from time to time, and so we need to figure that out as well. But activity, we know what to do about that. You just get more active. Howdy. So I'll just go ahead and read the section. This is really good right here. The decrease in physical activity with aging process is the key factor in development of strength and muscle loss. Physical inactivity leads to muscle atrophy. Loss of appetite is an additive problem in older adults, as insufficient nutrient intake that can also contribute to muscle loss. Therefore, one of the great challenges of the aging process is to decline. Therefore, one of the greatest challenging of aging process is to decline muscle mass loss and loss of strength. Strength training is one important tool to counteract this problem. Are we concerned that we're losing muscle mass and strength? Well, in people who don't smoke or commit suicide, which means basically people who want to live, the third leading cause of death is accidents. You got cardiovascular disease, you got cancer, and then accidents. Now, for those of us who are still working and more specifically driving, that really comes in the form of traffic accidents. And we're not just talking about getting killed in a traffic accident, but getting hurt in a traffic accident, and that can diminish the life in your years, as I like to say. Howdy. So as we get older, those accidents are more likely to come not in the form of traffic accidents, but in the form of falls. And it's a vicious cycle. No matter what kind of accident you're in, the less strength you have, the more likely you are to fall or not be able to stop yourself from falling. If there's a difference, the injury causes inactivity and more loss of mobility and reduction in walking speed. And walking speed I didn't know this. This was completely kind of a surprise to me. The slower you walk, the more likely you are to fall. Mobility is measured in basically your stride. And so, if you're unable to stride and you're just kind of shuffling around, you're more likely to fall. So, it's not just that we want to get to the checkout quicker at our grocery store. The slower you go, more likely you are to fall. So there are a number of benefits to strength training. Of course, we talked about a lot of them, but it helps improve your balance and stability so you don't start falling in the first place. Kind of makes sense if you're just used to sitting around. You're not going to be as good as at navigating on your feet. But there's probably more to it than that. I'm just bringing it down to the old Michael Davis running a fever, life-loving level. Weaker back muscles and abs, basically your core, can lead to poor posture, lower back pain, and muscle injuries. And, I can tell you from personal experience that exercising, doing strength exercises, can actually stop back pain.
Ask him, bro. This shit was so funny, bro.
Here on the dam, and the ducks are skittish, and I think they're fighting a little bit. It may be mating season or something. I don't know where they're from, but it's 70 degrees in February. They can move pretty fast along the water. They're kind of half flying, half running. It looks like they're running across the water. Can't really see it that well. And that's probably why they're making noise too, because they probably can't see as well either, because it's so dark. Expecting a pretty active spillway today. I can already hear it. I'm only halfway across the dam. And it's rush hour, or the end of rush hour, I don't know. So, strength training using weights is known to also improve bone density. It's interesting when astronauts spend a long time in space, they lose bone density. And so they come back to Earth and they're actually weaker from having been away, because the pressure of gravity, our bodies are constantly adjusting. And if you saw that movie, I think the movie is WALL-E, where they're just kind of, they can't stand. They're in space. They left Earth and got on this ship and have never left it. And they're all just blobs in these devices that carry them around. Anyway, slight departure from the main topic, but point is, lifting weights improves your bone density, and that is a big factor in when you fall, what's going to happen? You're going to have a fracture, or it's just going to be a bruise. It's just going to be like an internal fracture, like what I had when I had my knee injury. So that's a good benefit. You want your bones to be strong. You don't want to be frail and brittle. And there are many other benefits. Strength training can help arthritis pain, increase protein synthesis, increase your metabolism, testosterone, and DHEA levels. And so these things are kind of cellular growth factors, and those can also produce neurons and help their survival rate, thus staving off dementia. Everybody wants to do that. So go out and lift weights to stave off dementia. And it's hard to greet people when you can't see them in the dark, can't see their faces. I'm also kind of concerned somebody's gonna run up behind me, and I think a bug just flew in my nose. There's bugs. I mean, could it really be winter still? Trees are still pretty bare, I'll tell you that. Page 2. That's my reference to Paul Harvey. Strength training improves skin elasticity. Really? Yeah, bye-bye wrinkles. Just lift weights. Yes, make your wrinkles go away. Do strength training. Now you're starting to understand how cool this is. And, it's better because apparently it's harder to build muscle. I've been back and forth on this, but you can build muscle, but it's better to have that buildup of strength, store of strength, and never let it go. So start now. And I'm sure that's why Tom wanted to start. It's because he knew this. Strength training will help you regulate body temperature. Walking through Veterans Park right now. I was planning to start here because of the environmental situations, but things got all confused. Had to slow my walking pace there because I want had to get off of the pavement. So I'm walking on rocks and dirt and uneven ground, and the cars just keep coming by. Veterans Park, as always, place to come and sit in your parked car. And no real reason why that I can see. I don't know. Looks like there's going to be a traffic jam in the park. No reason why. It's not like a spectacular view or something. I mean, it's nighttime. I want to think there's something nefarious going on, but I can't. I've never been able to see anything that looked suspicious. Just people sitting in their cars. Also heard a doctor say that it's very hard to get diabetes when you have a lot of muscle. Again, a lot of these things I don't know why. I mean, I'll have the links to all my sources in the show notes, and you can make your own decision. That's definitely what I recommend you do. But I mean, it seems clear. The positive evidence seems to be overwhelming that to prepare for old age, you need to strength train. And you need strength training even when you're in old age. And that's my next question. Is there still time? Yes. Yes, there's still time. Like most of the solutions I try to bring to bear here, it's never too late. Strength training is just yet another case proving my point. It's never too late, never ever. I will be turning 53 this month. And I won't go through the litany of everything I do, but if you've been listening, you know what I do. So I'm doing it all. In fact, since we are on the topic of strength training, I do pretty much a bodybuilding program that anyone would do, at least any beginning bodybuilder or intermediate bodybuilder would do. I work out 5 times a week for about 45 minutes. Work every muscle group in my body once a week. And I'm steadily, I don't know, maybe not steadily, but I am increasing the resistance. I'm increasing my weight, and that's what you have to do. Progressive muscle overload. According to Dr. Joseph Mercola, older adults can see a 2 or 3-fold increase in strength in 3 to 4 months. And continued training can also increase muscle mass. So you can grow muscle even when you're in your 70s. So he also says you can reverse bone weakness like we talked about before. So what kind of training do you need? Well, I've just been talking about it. Progressive muscle overload. And that means you lift what you can safely lift, and when that gets easier, you go up in weight. When I do it, I start with 4 repetitions. I think Dr. Mercola recommended a higher rep range, 8 to 15, he says. I'm working in the 4 to 8. Try to do 4 to 6, but it's really more like 4 to 8. Sometimes I don't feel like I can go up in weight, but it happened today. With one, I can't remember what it was, but I went up in weight for set 2 and set 3, and it behaved just as I was expecting it to do. I go up 10 pounds, or if you're doing a dumbbell, you're just going to go up 5 pounds. I go up 10 pounds and I go down 2 reps. So if I can do 6, I increase it 10 pounds on the bar, or 5 pounds on the dumbbell. And then I can do generally 2 less. If I do 6, I can do 4. And I continue doing that weight until I'm back up to 6 again, and then I raise the weight again. Now I've gone backwards sometimes, and that's why you got to keep it up. You can lose strength. Muscle mass doesn't go away that quickly, but your strength does. And strength helps you push more weight, helps you build more muscle mass. But we're going for both here, really, because the muscle mass helps you in your metabolism. It helps you prevent diabetes. There's all kinds of things that are in this podcast that I've talked about that have more to do with muscle mass than they do with strength, but strength is also important. So, and he says work your muscle groups twice a week, and that's probably okay. I am doing it once a week, but there are a lot of crossovers in these large muscle groups. For example, I do close grip bench press for my triceps on arm day, which is Friday. But I also do bench press, and that's going to give me a little bit of chest workout as well. Like on Monday when I do 2 sets of bench press, or 3 sets of incline bench and 1 set of flat bench barbell. And so, I do get some workout, but I just kind of focus on one muscle group once per week, right? So the next time I do arms is going to be the following Friday. I'll have all that time to rebuild. So the indications are really no different than for younger folks. I think the only thing is, it's just like everybody needs to be safe. So if you haven't worked out in 20 years, don't go and put a bunch of weight on the bar. See if you can lift the bar first. Start with the lowest weight. If you can lift a 5-pound bag of sugar, then you're probably safe to start with 5 pounds. If you can lift a 50-pound bag of dog food, then you could probably start with 50 pounds, 25 on each side, plus the weight of the bar. So I guess less the weight of the bar. Anyway, just use good judgment and start off slow. I even had to do this when I came back from the holidays. And I say holidays, it wasn't really much of a holiday for me because of there was a family illness, but it kept me away from the gym for a while, and when I came back I was quite a bit weaker, and I didn't lift as much weight, and I also didn't work out as much. I took 2 or 3 days off, the first week, and then maybe another 2 days off the second week, and then I was back to trying to do 5 days a week. So just use common sense and be very gradual about it. It takes a long time to train yourself. You're talking about 3 to 4 months before you kind of really see that big difference. But if you're really trying to build muscle mass in terms of pounds, it takes years to do. So there's no rush, in other words. So I'm going to have all these links in. Also going to have a great video I saw of about a 77-year-old woman who is a competitive power lifter. Pretty inspirational. So that's a good sign. And she looked good. I mean, it's just, like you said, she looked really good for a 77-year-old, definitely. So yep, I'll have that, and also have a link to a free ebook on strength training for older adults that you can get. So free stuff at runningafever.com. This is very exciting stuff, and it's good to know that what I'm doing is the right thing for the future of my health. And that's kind of what it was, but also just some really enlightening things about some of the other benefits of strength training and how important it is. And now I have a kind of an idea of why that is, at least at a high level, more so than just trying to say use my common sense, which sometimes is uncommonly senseless. Well, it's completely dark here at Lake Fayetteville. Actually, I can see the clouds and the sky coming through the leafless trees that I'm sure will soon be sprouting leaves. It's only the first week of February, but a great spring-like day, or fall-like. No, it's more like spring, really. It's warm, more like a late spring. Anyway, it's warming up, and you should warm up your fever if you don't have it yet, and if you got it, be sure to keep it. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever.